Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye. A very late Demetra Kaye, but it was for a good reason. I was doing something, and so I was late. You guys know I rarely get a Sunday off ever, and so sometimes I have to take a little extra break instead of taking a whole day off. I just took some of the day off, and so for those of you guys who are still going to tune in, an hour 15 minutes or so later, we appreciate you very much. As you guys can also see, Donovan is back in the building. He was like a runaway slave. He had took off, but I went and wrestled him up, if you will, lassoed him up.
Yeah, she had a Steven coming after me.
Yes, and so needless to say, he only has 1 foot. Okay, he only has 1 foot. What your name is, boy? What your name is?
Donovan, Toby.
Right. So he won't do that again, to say the least. So anyway, y'all, welcome to the Demetra Kaye show, rather. And thank you, YouTube and Facebook, for being the other side of the conversation. Monet, the pioneer, and Kara, and Moni and LaMarcus. How y'all doing? Also like to say a big giant thank you to the recovering Democrat for finally coming back, and to Marcus Guyton for everything he does behind the scenes to make the show go further on Facebook. Everything is much appreciated. And so, Donovan, before we get into it, we have, I guess we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but I saw a movie, Respect, the Aretha Franklin movie. And it's funny because before I saw it, I kind of knew I wanted to talk about what I'm going to talk about. And so I kind of told Donovan a little bit, but we're just going to kind of piggyback off of each other. And so, Donovan, what's going on with you before we get started?
Yes. Again, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in to the Demetra Kaye show. And it's funny that you brought it up. The minute you or I are not on the show, the scuttlebutt starts flying like, oh, are y'all still doing the show together? Have y'all broken up? Are y'all arguing? No. Yeah. No, that's not it. No. I have like a lot of military friends that come into town, and some of them come unannounced and stuff. And here's the way I see it. If you're a friend of mine and you travel 3,000 miles out of your way, I could come 90 miles down to San Diego, at least have lunch or dinner with you for a couple of hours, because there were some friends down there. And I'm not talking about the people, but there were some friends that her friend had a friend down there and lives right there in San Diego and didn't meet us anywhere while we were down there. And San Diego has a little scooters, so it can't be a transportation problem. So that's the kind of person I am. If you're going to come all that way, the least I can do is spend a few hours with you. And so, again, it was kind of embarrassing. I'm on the ship, and then the slave catcher came and, the drop squad and took me out and everything like that. But no, it was a great visit. My friend is doing so well. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a beautician. And it was just great to see her because, she did some great things for me when we were growing up. First day of school, this girl got in a fight. I told her, you better get off of this bus. I don't know who you are, but you better get off this bus or this will not stop. And she mopped that girl up. And Frida was a little church girl. After that, Frida didn't have no more problems.
You would stop talking when I put some water in my mouth. Anyway, all right, let me come get myself together here, y'all. I apologize for being so sloppy today. But anyway, before we get started, y'all know I got the plug. My friend's brand here, the Diva brand.shop. As y'all can see here, there are a bunch of t-shirts and backpacks and hats and really just a whole host of things, custom-made stuff, if you will, that you guys, if you want to, you can visit, see the fanny pack. People are wearing fanny packs now, little backpack, hats and stuff. The Diva brand.shop. Again, she can personalize shirts for you if you want, but these are the things that she has. American by birth, and then African by blood is the indication of that shirt. Then there's sweatsuits, if you will, astrological shirts. Some of y'all, like to rep your astrological sign. I'm Team Aries, if you will. I don't know if that means anything to you. Of course, we have clothes for children and, things like that. I like this one here. What's his name? That's the AG of Kentucky, the one that dropped the ball in Breonna Taylor's case. And then, of course, more things. And I personally have, let's see, this shirt here, Make Black Wall Street Great Again. And as I said, her t-shirts are very soft. You guys go check her out, the divabrand.shop. And I put the link in the description box. All right, y'all. So why are we here today? Why are we here today? It's a good question, right? So before I went and saw the movie Respect, I said I wanted to talk about how can we be a better service to our young girls, right? Our daughters or our nieces or anybody, you know, that we, young girls that we have in our lives and things like that. And so I went and saw the Respect movie with Aretha Franklin. Of course, most of you guys know her story. And maybe you don't know her story. There was another movie about her called Genius with Cynthia Erivo, and a lot of people didn't like the fact that it was Cynthia Erivo, who, you know, is not of African-American descent, if you will. Also, her family, her being Aretha Franklin's family, did not give, was it National Geographic and one of those channels permission to make that movie. They have given the blessings with Jennifer Hudson Respect. They wanted that movie to be made. So I didn't watch the Genius movie in its entirety. I saw bits and pieces of it. But once I saw this particular movie, I understood. I guess I understood why her family didn't want the one with Cynthia Erivo to be made, because it really did unearth a lot of things about her father. They talked about Martin Luther King in not such a good way, Sam Cooke, and, you know, a few other people in regards to their relationship, if you will, with Aretha Franklin. And so for those of you guys who don't know, Aretha Franklin had, you know, 2 babies, I want to say, by the age of 14, 15, 2 babies. And it was never really disclosed publicly anyway who the fathers were. There was a lot of speculations, and I won't say because it is really just speculation. But just kind of knowing her story a little bit, she was very unprotected. You know, her father threw a lot of parties, and it was everybody you can think of at these parties, all kind of celebrities, just everybody. And as a child, he would parade her out at these parties, and he, like, you know, wake her up and stuff in the middle of the night to sing, because she was always a great singer from a child, right? She was a prodigy, if you will. So he would parade her out at these parties. And so it kind of left her vulnerable to being sexually abused, not to say the least. And so just really thinking about our young girls and, you know, thinking about the R. Kelly and all of that kind of stuff. I just thought, what can we do in this discussion here to do a better job at protecting our young girls, and not just really from sexual violence, but just doing a better job, you know, at raising our girls, you know, making them into respectable young ladies. And listen, I'm not saying that that doesn't exist and that they're, you know, all parents are dropping the ball. And when I say parents, I mean mothers and fathers. I'm not saying all parents are doing that. But I think maybe I could be wrong, that we've gotten away from doing it more, or maybe it's always been around, really just kind of thinking about the story of Aretha Franklin, that our young girls have always been vulnerable. We talk about this often, but what is it that we can do, you know, to better serve our daughters, and so that we don't raise, you know, little girls that eventually turn into women with so much trauma. It's traumatic to have to spend your life, you know, as Aretha would call them and her father would call them, her demons, having to fight the demons, and not only fight the demons, but never really getting help for what was done to not just her, but a lot of young girls at such a young age. You know, in our community, we have this thing of, well, we're going to keep it in the family. More or less, we sweep it under the rug. We don't want everybody to know, you know, what happened. And then unfortunately, the child, and I'm going to say child because, again, it happens to young boys too. Everybody gets away with it except for the child. Now, what I mean by get away with it, I mean the child is left to shoulder the burden and the pain and the trauma of what was done to them while they get to watch Uncle so-and-so or mom's whoever or whatever, live his or even her life, because women do abuse too, live their lives as if they didn't just destroy the life of a whole human being. So I want to ask you guys, what can we do? And I want to get to you guys' comments in just a second, but I also want to say a couple of things that are unrelated to this topic while you guys are thinking about what I said. So for one, we now know that, the Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife have contracted COVID, even though they were fully vaccinated. Now, a few people wanted me to talk about it, and you guys know, for whatever reason, I can't get too deeply into that topic because unfortunately social media outlets do ban people's channels for getting too in detail. But I do want to say this. I don't care how you feel about the Reverend Jesse Jackson. If you are out there making fun of Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife, that they have contracted COVID, even though they were vaccinated, for however you feel about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, shame on you. Shame on you, because while I don't agree with a lot of things that Jesse Jackson did or did not do for Black people, but I will not sit in this chair and act like my parents, because my parents were wonderful people, don't get me wrong. But a lot of our parents, because Jesse Jackson essentially is my parents' age, or my dad's age anyway, a lot of our parents didn't do or put it on the line or get out there for social justice and a whole lot of things. They didn't do what he did, whether we agreed or not. Most of us haven't spent a life of servitude, and I'm not going to argue whether he actually served or not, but most of us have not even done 1/4 of what Jesse Jackson has done. Whether he's done some bad things or whatever, we have not done it. But one of my favorite sayings, and a lot of people get this wrong, they think that it comes from the Bible. It does not. It says, there before the grace of God, there go I, which means thank God that that's not me, and thank God that is not my parents. But if you were laughing and making fun of that man for getting something that could take his life, you need to look in the mirror and rearrange your understanding and stop being so damn mean and cold. And that's the other thing I want to get to. As y'all know, Sha'Carri Richardson, she raced and she lost. And let's just call it what it is. She lost badly. She lost badly. And I've never seen so many Black people, I could be wrong, but let's just say in the last 48 hours, do to her what they are doing to her. Whether you're Black overseas or you're Black over here, making fun of her and all kind of like, I know Black people are in a bad state, but when did we become so rotten? So rotten as a people. I'm not talking about those other people. I'm talking about us. When did we become so rotten to where we think it's okay to dog out one of our own for failing? Most of us, and I've run track before, and I've never come close to being as great as Sha'Carri is and or will be. But where do we get to the point to where we laugh and make jokes at people who fail at something they tried so hard to, be successful at? Where are we as a people to where we drag people like that? People say, oh, she cussed on TV. Yeah, we cuss all the time, but y'all mad at her because she cussed on TV? She need to have more class? She's 21. The hell was you doing? Not y'all, but I'm saying in general, when you was 21, was any of us on a track and field becoming a world-class athlete? So what I'm saying is we need to rearrange our understanding as Black people and stop falling for the bullshit. It's bullshit when we spend so much time dragging our own people down. And you know, another thing that came to my mind, Donovan looking at me like, you know what, Demetra? Another thing that came to my mind was that of Chadwick Boseman. Y'all remember how people talk so bad about him? He must be doing drugs. Oh, he don't look. Turned out he died of cancer. Didn't even tell anybody he had it, but died of cancer, leaving egg on a lot of mean, ugly people's faces. So we need to do better. So Donovan, before I get to these comments, what say you?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to take too long in my rebuttal to that, but you know, in regards to Jesse Jackson, I don't agree with Jesse Jackson at all, and I don't agree with Trump and a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. But I'll be damned if I'm going to make fun of somebody because they've got the COVID that can kill them. You know, a lot of people, oh, Trump, you know, hope he gets it. You know, I mean, you know, where's your humanity when you're wishing somebody? Do you hate somebody that much to where you wish death upon them? You know, and if that's what you do, that's what you do. But in regards to Sha'Carri Richardson, you know, I've been out and about, so I haven't been on the news for the last 3 or 4 days, but I was on YouTube trying to catch up to get ready for the show. And I saw the race and I was shocked that she lost that badly. But guess what, though? The girl that's the record holder, she's on a high. So if you're an athlete, sometimes you get in a zone and you're just going to take off. And that's fine. This girl is young. But here's the funny thing about Sha'Carri Richardson. The very people, and I saw some of the people in my comments when I was reading the comments about Sha'Carri Richardson that were defending her in regards to her weed use were some of the very same people that were dogging her because she lost. It's a shame. I mean, it's like we love to build people up to break them down. We love it.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now it took a little bit longer to get to your comments, but I'm gonna get to them right now. Someone there, you say, hey, everyone. The Pioneers says, good evening, King, Queen, and beautiful family. Yes, indeed. And Carrie, you say, hey, family. Moni says 7:16 Eastern Standard Time. Happy wonderful birthday to me. Come on now. Says greetings to Demetra and Donovan. It's been so hot here in Michigan. I don't know how you guys stand it in hot climate. Love you both. We love you too. Yeah, we just gotta do what we gotta do, right? And Lamarcus, you say, what up, y'all? The Pioneer says, sis, you had to track down and gaffle up Donovan. I did. I said, you ever do that again? One day is all right, but two? And Marty says, the Pioneer, much Detroit love to you. Welcome. It's something like, how you doing? And Jeremy, what's going on with you? Said, brother and sister, great to see you both again. And Pam, what's going on? You say, greetings, Demetra and Donovan. And Lamarcus says, I should have been your fill-in co-host while he was gone. You know what? You sure should have been.
Absolutely. And real quick, I want to address Sunlight. She went to my page and joined and said that my picture looks like R. Kelly in the Honey Love video, was it, or something like that?
You might want to change that.
Yeah.
For those of you guys on Facebook, if you're watching this on another page, you want to click on the link and want me to read your comments, tap on the link, come over here. I'll be more than happy to do it. Pioneer says the chemistry is too strong between Demetra and Donovan. Plus, both of them are too smart to get caught up in the petty. I don't see their friendship breaking up in a million years. Nah, me and Donovan have been friends for a very long time.
But I am trying to get enough signatures to get this show removed because, you know, all this knowledge she's getting out there, we don't want y'all to start waking up. See, so, you know, I'm trying to start a petition.
You're right. What is it? 1 million black men against Demetra? Morning says, I'm glad to see Donovan's happy smile is wonderful. I hope you enjoyed the weekend, Donovan, Demetra. Donovan, do you all have an African American festival? And he said, Michigan, this is African American festival weekend. I don't know if in California, they have like the Taste of Soul.
Yeah, the Taste of Soul. And the Taste of Soul is pretty much ours.
And Houston, I'm sure they got a lot of stuff. I don't know of it just yet. And Mimi, how you doing? Says, welcome back, Donovan. You will always be missed, but Sister Demetra held it down. Yes, indeed. Yo, now what's going on with you? You say peace, Queen, Donovan, and fam. Wilbur, how you doing? And Moni says your skin is already going to meet your own. Looks like you've been using a lot of lipophilic acids, very moisturized, super glow. Don't forget to use some Neo-Cell fish collagen that keeps the permanent glow. Okay. And Thunder, how you doing? Eli, what's happening? Moni says, I want to meet you. With Aretha being from Detroit, the truth is the movie doesn't show is that the father was pedophile and was made to leave Tennessee in 1940s because of that. Yes, I did read about that.
Allegedly.
Well, It's more than alleged.
Well, we got to say allegedly for legal terms.
Right. Well, allegedly. Right. Okay. We're going to say allegedly. And the partner says, did they talk about Father Reverend C.L. Franklin much in that movie? Yeah. But they didn't talk about it as much as they did in the other movie. They left a lot of stuff off. They did show that he was a partying, drinking, and, womanizer type of person.
Right. But wait a minute, though. How many of us in our communities had friends and family members that were like that? And like I said, it's so sad within our community that I bet you, if I ask a lot of my girl cousins, if something that's similar like that happened, I bet you they have a story.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's so sad. It's not unusual. It's not an unusual. I'm not saying it's normal.
No,
I'm just saying it's so sad. It is not an unusual circumstance.
Yeah, I got you. And Jerome says, how y'all feel? And if I didn't already say hello, he says, how y'all feel about Brother Polite? Well, I talked about him, I think it was Friday. And I just really quick want to say, if they're all allegations, and I try not to form an opinion on people till there is what there is to know. I just know that it doesn't look good. But my initial thought is, why on earth would you be at an after party with a 14-year-old? I think if we start and stop right there, a lot of this would have been avoided, right? So, Anais, how you doing? And the Pioneer says, Reverend C.L. was well known in Detroit. He was into a little bit of this, that, and other hustles. I visited this church in New Bethel a number of times. Okay. And Anais, she said, let the little girls be little girls. Yes, indeed. And Jafia, how you doing? It says, I didn't want Erivo playing the role because she doesn't share a culture, spirit, history, or nationality with Miss Franklin. And a lot of people said the same thing, right? They labeled her movie actually disrespect.
Right. I mean, what was the one with, what's the singer that you like? And what's her name played it? The girl, she was light skinned. Nina Simone. The girl that played the Nina Simone thing?
So, yeah. Zoe Saldana?
Yeah, Saldana. A lot of people, she got a lot of backlash because of her. It's like the light skins are playing, roles. Because to play the role, she had to put base makeup on or whatever to make her look darker. And it's like, well, why didn't you just cast
India Arie or somebody?
Yeah.
India Arie would have been perfect, or Lauren Hill, All right. And so, yes, Anna, you should say she was never in therapy. Yeah. And I mean, it really took a toll on her, which is very sad, And back then, especially being in the church, Jesus is all you need. We gonna pray about it, go on to God and all of that. But it's like, well, that's nice, but I really need somebody to help me deal with this, right? We can't just sweep it under the rug. And yes, you said she had a baby at 12, right? I mean, who's doing that to a 12-year-old baby, Hey, Brother Samuel said, clean up the music is one thing, such as pointed out in this video. Okay, we have to check it out. And Omisium, how you doing? It says Black First Family. Hey, Demetra. Hey, Donovan. Missed you, bro. Yes, he's back. I had to give him 12 lashings to get his mind right. What's happening? Amanda, you say www.afrothunderlocks.com. Okay, we're gonna have to check that out. What's really going on?
Wait, is that your MyFans page or what?
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
What's happening, Brother Todd? You say the world is full time with tearing our girls down through every medium possible. We as parents are part-time with raising our children, and the ills of the world are winning. You are absolutely right.
And you hit it right on the nail, because if you really think about it, most of us now are part-time parents and full-time workers.
Yeah. And Marnie says Aretha Franklin's first two sons, Edward and Clarence. He said, and thereby the father, let's be clear, she had the first one, but she was pregnant at 12, delivered at 13. The next one, she was pregnant by 13 and delivered at 14, which is horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah, my grandmother had her first child at 14. But, she was with my grandfather. But I'm just like, what are y'all doing at different world? I'm not saying it's right. But, yeah, let the girls be girls and let the boys be boys.
Yes. Honeydew, how you doing? And Jerome says, I still pray for OG Jesse. Yeah, I mean, come on. Surely we can't be that evil, right? And Anna says, Reverend Jesse Jackson is a king. Whether we like the politics or some of the things he did or did not do, that man has put it on the line his whole life, even up until recently. He was in Texas marching for voters' rights at the ripe age of 79. Some of us, have never even participated in any of that kind of stuff and will never do it, but yet he's still doing it. So
yeah, it's almost like these people giving their advice on the Afghanistan situation and stuff like that. You had every opportunity to serve in the military, but yet you didn't. But now you have an opinion. Please go sit down. Please go sit down.
Yes, and Brother Samuel, you say also educate the ministers to educate the public on value of women following the teaching of the nation. Yes, indeed, and that's another thing. We don't. That's like a lost art nowadays. It's almost, well, not almost. It is profitable and become fashionable to tear down Black women. It becomes like a gladiator thing, like a sport. You say right on, and then Big Merc G, how you doing? He says I was molested by my babysitter, and I haven't yet told my parents. I was protecting my parents because they'll kill. And yes,
and that's a lot of folks too, where the kids, keep the secret because they know their parents will go ham and end up in jail.
Well, at first I want to say, I'm sorry that happened to you. But as I said a couple of days ago when we were talking about R. Kelly, I know of a lot of men who were, molested, and they didn't tell their parents because, like you said, they knew somebody was going to come up missing, and they didn't want the burden of their parents, their father, going to prison, for something like that. And so they just held on to it, and it didn't help because they never got, the help they needed for something so traumatic happening. And Jafia say prayers going up to Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. Yes, indeed. And Pam, you say, Jesse Jackson did a lot for everyone. He's a great man. Yes, indeed. And Kara said, that's crazy. I am praying for them. Yes, indeed. And I said, there's a lot of meanies out here. Yeah, I just don't like, when do we become the mean? Like, we're just, wow. Not all of us, but a lot of us are just mean. Like, where is your decency?
Well, because it's just like media and what we do here. If you got up and with some booty shorts and stuff, we'd have over 1 million subscribers. But no, yeah, we know that's not going to happen. But what I'm saying is, though, if you put the negative up, that's what sells. But if we talk about positive stuff, yeah, we're going to get 1,000 subscribers or people that really, are into that. But when it comes to negativity and things that are just salacious, everybody wants to deal in the negative. I mean, that's just where we're at in the world today. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just saying that's what sells. Sex sells. Scandal sells. All of these vices sell. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. And then you say, Donovan, Thottism is now a lifestyle. Only Sam, you say hateful. Yes, indeed. It's very hateful to talk about people like that. And then Honeydew, you say it's like that's what you get, quote unquote, attitude, very childish and evil in nature, in my opinion. Of course. No, this is my opinion too. It is very childish and evil. And Sunlight says, when we took on the mentality of the oppressors, we do it to one another. As they say, we crack the whip harder than the oppressor sometimes, right? And Monet, you say, preach, Demetra. Well, thank you. Antoine, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetra, Brother Donovan, and room. And Javai says, what happened to Shikari? What I missed? So hopefully, I hope you saw my explanation of that. She lost in the Diamond League races. I think she came in 9th or something. It wasn't a good race for her, but people just evil.
She's going to be back. I guarantee it. She is going to be back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I says, there's always, they always been rotten. Social media amplifies the hate. Yes, it's easy for people to get behind a keyboard or this computer screen and do nasty things that they would never even dream about doing in Walmart. As someone once said, the internet is the home of the brave, where people roam free and they ain't gonna bust a grape outside of the internet. So I think we need to keep that in mind, but it don't mean it doesn't hurt, right? And Pam says, Sha'Carri Richardson is still one of my favorite and always will be. Yes, I'm rooting for the girl. I really am. And Sunlight says the vitriol for her is major. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, it's nasty. And he says straight BS. Yes, indeed. And Brother Samuel say they're ashamed because she did it in front of Massa. Oh, I talk about when she was, kind of with the bravado, if you will. Well, she lost. And the crazy part is, you know, she didn't get to go to the Olympics for whatever reason. So she know the whole world was watching her. A lot of people rooting for her to fail. So it's like, imagine coming out of those blocks with all of that on your mind. Like, damn, if I don't win, then everybody's gonna call me this, that, and the other, and I gotta win, right? So it's a lot. I just really hope and pray that her, she's
not over the death of her mother. I mean, you can saw it in the race when she literally, when I saw the video, it looked like to me she just pulled up. It's like her head was not in the game. That's what I thought.
It's possible, and Jafia says, when he passed away, I cried like he was a relative. And forgive me, but who you talking about Chadwick Boseman, because I be talking so much. Yes, I called a lot of people off guard, like, wait a minute. I mean, just the babies, how they took it when the Black Panther, when he, to them, that's who he was. And, it's more than that, but they really took it hard, And hey, Delano, how you doing? And Amoni says, being here in Detroit, knowing many people that knew C.L. Franklin personally, he's known in Detroit from that time of having sex parties with Ray Charles, tells about it, and a lot put her in dangerous position. Yes, that's what I took from, some of the things that I saw. And Kara said they messed up that girl mentally, mental health by banning her from the Olympics. Yeah, I can see that. And Eric, how you doing? He says, vaccinated and still get the COVID. What does that say, people? What's really in this vaccine? And now y'all know we can ponder that side.
Money. It's all about money. For all we know.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Reason why I'm cutting you off is because, like I said, y'all, I'm serious. I would love to get into that. I have my views on it, but if y'all want to continue to see us here, there's certain things we can't say. They've taken down people's channels with millions of subscribers. That's how serious they are about it. So, like Brother Phil Scott has African Diaspora News Channel.com, where on there we can get into that kind of stuff. Y'all notice on that channel, what y'all don't see us talking about that, and it's for good reason. Because if we want to continue bringing y'all this, information and knowledge, there's certain things we can't do because we don't own these platforms. And so I know some of y'all would get mad and said I cut Donovan off, and I wasn't trying to be rude or disrespectful. I'm just trying to make it so that we can stay here, if that makes any sense. But I do get what you guys are saying. Those are great questions, Eric. And Honeydew says, how do we stop this nasty mentality? We just got to, I think, stop participating in it. Stop giving it light. Black Twitter is good for some things, but there's a lot of, nonsense that it perpetuates. And so we just need to stop participating, I would think. And the pioneer, you say, C.L. Franklin's, Aretha Franklin's father wasn't shit and had to be put on life support for quite a while. Did they put that part in the movie? Don't worry about spoilers for me. I'm probably going to see it anyway. No, they didn't. They kind of took a different twist on it. They didn't put that part in the movie. It was, it was different. And Anna says, grade A certified haters are all over social media, unfortunately. And Jeremy, you say, we have been around them folks for too long. We must rid ourselves of the European mindset. Just because they hate us doesn't mean we must hate each other. There you go. Brother Samuel says, I was taught when I played football that everyone loves a winner, but when we lose, they will turn on you rather. So all you has is, I think you meant all you have is, yeah, it has is
all
yourself.
You have then is your team, yourself and your team.
Got it. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Donovan. The interpreter, because I'll be. Marty says, nobody is qualified to make a mockery because somebody comes up ill, because that's not nothing to laugh at or joke at about. Jesse Jackson never enslaved multitude or lynch any man. Let's be clear. There you go. But we got more hate for him than we do the actual oppressor, right? What's really going on? And Sunlight said that Donovan, you did, no pun intended, you definitely favored him.
R. Kelly and that picture. I'm gonna go change that picture when we get off the show.
Right. You don't want no hate mail, people trying to get you taken down. Honeydew says, yeah, we missed you, Big Daddy. Okay. But understand our queen held it all the way down, kind sir. Okay. Hey, Pamela. We got 3 Pams, or 1 Pam and 2 Pamelas on here. So I have to say y'all last name, Roche. How you doing? Morning says he never sold no man for 450 years, I think, and then have you in bondage for another 100 years thereafter. Let's be clear. He marched with Cream, and he did his civic. What am I?
He marched with King. He did his civic duty while he was young and pray that he'll be well. And you know, and I noticed what Moni's doing in that she's typing faster than she can think. So, you know, by the time she types King, it was Cream. You know, she had already moved farther in her thought process.
You also say, Demetra, I think the most disrespectful thing that I believe it or not was to hear the minister of wellness speak that Mr. Chad died because he had an improper diet when that wasn't the case. Well, you know, yeah, I think regardless of why he's gone, and you don't know why he died. You know, if it's your time, I guess sometimes it's your time. But one thing I've never tried to do is Monday morning quarterback other people's situation. You don't know why that man died. He didn't tell you. He was sick in the first place. So who is anybody to try to diagnose him, especially if you wasn't his doctor? You know what I'm saying? Because then that makes people feel bad, like, oh, if he would have just ate better. And you don't know what his situation was, right? And the Pioneer says, Queen, since you started late, how long are you planning to broadcast this evening? I'm going to try to go to, so I started, try to go to 7:30, 45, if that's all right with you. Because since it is later, my apologies. And Honeydew says, see, that's why I don't pay these biopics any mind, because who's going to tell the truth? And Aretha has passed, so who knows what happened? Exactly. I never heard of her talking about her father or any of that stuff, right? And I says,
you know, and let me tell you guys this. I was at the library earlier today, and Aretha had her audio book that was penned by her. And we know books kind of do it, but it's more information in the book than you will get in a movie. So if you're really interested and want to hear a little bit of her side, go get her autobiography and read it, you know?
Yeah. And I says Aretha Franklin named her first son after her father. Yes, she did. And Moni says some people are quick to get a bandwagon and use a platform for their podcast or their show to get ratings and make inappropriate remarks on others when it's wrong, too offensive. I agree with that. I try not to do that here. Try not to get into the dirt, right? And Carla, how you doing? He says, are we talking about the events about the Afghanistan coming here, the Afghans coming here, and the $300 million per day that the U.S. government paid? Well, yep. We can, yeah. We'll let me read these comments and I'll let Donovan get into it, because that's really his expertise, is being that he has been over there a few times. So I'll let him give y'all the spiel on what's going on. Hey, Tisha, how you doing? And Jafia says, Salido also had to wear a prosthetic nose. Who is that? And Honeydew, you say, laugh out loud, one day I'm going to learn to highlight. Okay. And Amanda says, nah, Donovan was posting a lot of websites and I didn't want to be left out.
Got it. So if you do that OnlyFans, you got a subscriber.
The Pioneer says, I think it was a little disrespectful for Cynthia Erivo to play her, but not because she was non-foundational Black American, but because she doesn't look anything like Aretha. And Aretha says she wanted Jennifer to play her. Yes, she did. She said she always wanted Jennifer Hudson to play her. She did a good job, I must say. Cynthia did okay, but Jennifer, I think she was born to do that. Ron Terrell, how you doing? You say, it just goes to show some of these old plantation ways are still infested in our Black community, hence Aretha being molested by her father. Yes, well, that's the word. That's what they said. I don't know how true it is, allegedly, right? Moni says, I know I'm personally tired of hearing them every day blowing up the TV about what's going on in Afghanistan, but you're not talking about reparations. Let's get real low numbers. Biden in poll now. Okay, so again, we're gonna let Donovan talk about that as soon as I get to these comments. And Carla says, I didn't know that Queen Aretha went through this kind of drama in her lifetime. It's so sad. It is. It's very sad.
Well, there's a lot of female singers that have a similar. Look at Billie Holiday. Look at Florence Ballard. Look at, you could. It's happening. It's just sad. I can't really put my thing on it.
Yes, indeed. And I tell y'all. Okay, so and then the Pioneer says, what Donovan said was powerful. A lot of kids know what their parents will do to whomever harmed them and don't want them getting in trouble. You wouldn't think kids would have that much forethought. Yes, indeed. And Sunlight says, to be honest, the meanness is coming from a rebelling because for generations, Black people have always been the moral example, but constantly abused. It makes you hard and cold. Absolutely. Honeydew says, don't kill the fantasy, Donovan. You and Jean Booty Shorts just dropped the bid down to damn 53 cents and a roll. My God.
Wait, I didn't say me in booty shorts. I said Demetra in booty shorts.
Oh, yeah. He said me, not him. Lord, listen. I've seen him in Speedos twice. Hey, Alma, how you doing? Any guys, I have Alma's book up here, and then she says, y'all can check out this book. She has written a book to tell us about very famous Black people throughout history and up until modern day times. It is a good book for you personally and for your children. All the time we talk about, oh, they need to be teaching our children about us. Well, here's a great book. Go and check it out and have your children read it. Read it with them. Read it to them so they'll learn about great Black people in American history. I believe it's about African Americans. Maybe go outside of that, but most definitely, check that book out so we can stop saying, well, I didn't know, or they won't teach critical race theory in the school. Well, here you go. Teach it to your own kids. There's a thought. So I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. And Monty says, in the summary, Aretha Franklin's mother wanted a divorce. She left him and went to New York when she wanted to come and get and raise Irma, Carolyn, and Cecil. The father ran off the road where she died. Oh, well, Lord. Yes, Donovan says Kaye will be back. Believe that. And Jonelle says, we have a lot of those stories of molestation of boys and girls by parents, family, cousins, babysitters, various other predators, and etc. That is not truly dealt with and swept under the rug, as they say. Yet we enter into these relationships without true healing in a society full of sexual promotion to even children. We must continue to raise our moral state of being as Black people to prevent these ill-natured acts among us. Very well said. Jafia says Kaye should have waited a little while before competing again. Yeah, that's probably true, And the Pioneer says, also going back to the Jesse Jackson disrespect, a lot of racists are using social media to infiltrate Black circles, pretend to be Black, and encourage hatred for key Black figures. Yeah, they've always done that, but some of us are doing it as well. T Hall, how you doing? And so I also think that although the winners of the race had faster times than her in general, I think that participating in the Olympics could have pushed her, and she may have done better in this race. Yeah. Some are saying, her not participating in the actual Olympics probably, had some bearing on her performance yesterday. And teacher says, Chadwick gave me strength. If he can't work while he's fighting that illness, I know I don't need to complain about anything. Yes, indeed. And he said, my pastor channel got suspended for talking about the jab. Yeah, so I'm not lying, y'all. Like I said, I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm just, y'all get it. And you said we get it, D. So Jafia, so I appreciate that. And Monty says, I pray that God will continue to heal and bless Reverend Jesse Jackson. He has been a prominent figure in our community. While I wish you stopped doing this stuff, is more so, though I think you meant white supremacists for jealous of Jesse. Yes, indeed. And he said he was talking about the Nuremberg trials. Okay. And Dark Matter, how you doing? He says there, or did you mean here? And Eric says, I understand, D, just had to get off my chest. However, is free speech really free? Think about that, people, right?
Not on private property, it isn't, or private intellectual property, it's not free. That's what a lot of people don't understand. When you're in public, you can do whatever you want in public. But when you're on, you got to subject yourself to certain rules. And for some reason, people think, oh, well, I could be on Facebook and I should have the same rights. No, it's like going in somebody's house. You don't have the same rights. If I say the sky is purple and you're in my house, you better say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think Prince had that on his coat.
Yep, absolutely. And T Hall, he says Kaye's time in this race was much lower than her 10.7-ish. Best,
yeah,
the winner
she pulled up.
Yeah, he said the winner in this One did a personal best and record in the 10.5s, but Sha'Carri was in the high 11s. Okay. Yeah, she'll do better next time. We just need to, get behind our sister and stop, trying to make her feel like a horrible person. Brother Sammy says my Twitter account was shut down for posting an article in a magazine article of frontline doctors on the so y'all get it. They got little bots or something that are watching.
They are controlling the narrative, and that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Jafai says it's amazing how white people will root for you again. Another country right up until you lose, or root for you against another country, right? Yeah.
Well, remember Demetra's favorite boxer, Floyd Money Mayweather. He's the American, but all the white folks are going for the McGregor,
Right. And how did that work out for him? Like I said, I don't care what y'all say. I love me some Floyd Mayweather. Love Floyd Mayweather. I love his story. I love his tenacity. I love his ability to shut out the haters, regardless when they talk about he can't read, but he know how to count his money though. You know what I'm saying? So, Floyd Mayweather has a black business. He hires black people. He does for black people. What more do y'all want from the man? As Tyrese said, what more do you want from me? Marty said, I think Jesse Jackson haven't met him. He said you haven't met him a couple times in person. Is handsome and is knowledgeable over the years. White supremacy have mellowed him out and gave enough money to make him not be as radical any longer. Yeah, eventually they get to the best of them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: what we got to start thinking about. When you see people like Jesse Jackson, if you like him or not, I don't care for Jesse Jackson myself, but I don't shun what he did. John Lewis, I don't care for the man and at his record, but again, he did what he did, take the good with the bad. Here's the thing. Who's going to replace them? Who's stepping up to replace these people? Right. That's when you start thinking about who's going to step up and replace these people. Because once they're gone, they're gone. That's the question you need to ask yourself. Very
true, brother. And Pam, I say Pam is jamming. I say y'all whole names because there's a couple of Pams on here. It says, if you want to talk the talk, then there's other platforms such as Vimeo, Odyssey, and Rumble. No censorship there.
And you can always go to the rights thing. The Pillow Guy has one you could jump onto that wasn't very successful. Donald Trump has one. You can jump on that one. I mean, so they're all for free speech.
Right. There's no censorship there. Also, podcasts are good as well. I'm just saying, I have to look into some of those things. But, and don't forget, like I said, the African Diaspora News Channel has an app that, stuff that you'll never see us talk about on the main channels are there. We are free to be, put it that way. So check it out. And the Pioneer says, sis, you're absolutely right. Not to talk about the V at all. Don't even risk your channel like that unless you have a mental problem. You should have your mind made up on it by now anyway. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like at this point, it's a personal decision. Make an informed decision and do what's best for you. And Amelie says, Black folks got a lot of work to do within our community so we can control our own stories. And again, check her book out. She has, a book that's teaching us about people we need to know about. So it's a great book too for the children. They never too long.
Right. And just a real quick plug, Phil Scott has a book that, people need to check out and learn different things about what's going on in our minds and how to change our narrative. So, I mean, you got all of these sources out there, but unfortunately, the true statement, you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. It is so true because, like I said, I love libraries. I love Barnes and Noble. I like to read certain different things, and that's maybe me. But it's unfortunate. A lot of us, our children, they don't read as much as they used to back in the day, and it's really, really unfortunate. So, but yeah,
I was just looking for my book.
Yeah, Alma says. Black folks got a lot of work to do within our community so we can control our own stories. That is so true. Pam is jamming, is saying Donovan is correct. What? Oh, that's twice on the show about the biographies and books. More truth by the person from the person. Exactly. You'll hear more, what they want you to know, in that book versus a screenplay on a movie theater or whatever. Jafaya again says, I meant Saldana. Yeah, exactly. Who played that part?
I was looking for my book, but I think my brother.
Yeah, he probably took it.
I know he did. That Negro, he done got 2 of my
You
books.
stole his book.
I bet you he ran off of my book. I bet you any money he got my book by Phil Scott, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind. I bet you he got my book. Ooh, wait till I see that sucker. Anyway, where did you leave? Okay, so Abdallah.
Abdallah, yeah.
It says, greetings from Gambia. Yes, indeed. And tonight, what's going on with you? And Pamela Roche, you say, they said do you think the president will stop the killings in Afghanistan? No.
How can the president stop a killing in a sovereign nation?
Yes, and we'll let Donovan get into that, I promise you. And Jonelle says, Afghans about to move in black areas and have stores, wells like everyone else, get black revenue, empowering themselves because we slow to support and empower ourselves with the same revenue we're spending with foreigners. You make a good point, brother. Sunlight says, did you know that not one song was lip synced in a movie that was all Jennifer Hudson and she sounded just like Aretha? Yes. Like I said, she was born to play that part because that girl can sing. Honeydew says, it's mostly women in here. We like our fantasies. Okay, well, not even give the ladies what they came for. And it says, men in Speedos are confident. Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
It was cold. The water was cold.
How the hell was it cold in a tropical environment and the sun was shining? It wasn't a cloud in the sky, brother.
It was cold.
Pamela Rose, she says, thank you. You're welcome. And the Pioneer says, Queen, you said you saw the Don and the Speedos twice. Laugh out loud. Was it cold both times?
Yes, it was. Now, remember, I'm from California. Anything below 70 degrees, it's cold to me. So.
Yes, indeed, Alma. Yes. Check her book out, y'all. I got it up here on the screen. And Marnie says, in terms of these athletic races, I think that they will win again. It's just that this was a year too hard, full of racism with pandemic. And I don't like how they treated these people in Japan. Yeah, that's a whole different story right there. It was just awful for them over there, which I don't even understand why they go at this point, right? And Alma says it's freezing a little, y'all. Oh, am I freezing at all? I know Donovan was freezing a little bit, but am I freezing? Am I good?
You're good to go. You're good to go.
All right. And you say Demetra, Kaye, and Donovan, much appreciated. Oh, yes, absolutely. We don't mind helping people out. Check it out. And Abdallah says, what about these, the rapes committed by the two Bobs for about 500 years? That is how our collective melanin went from blue, black to yellow and light brown. Yes, indeed. That's why I always argue when I see people talking about if you ain't full black, this, that, and the other. I'm like, what the hell is full black? Especially if you were African in America. I mean, look at me. I mean, both my parents are black per se, but somewhere in there, back there, massa was getting around. How is it that my grandfather is partially Italian? I ain't talking about my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather. I'm talking about my grandfather. I'm just asking questions. So
a lot of swirlers back in the day, a lot of silent swirlers. Look at them, the barges.
Well, not even that. It was a lot of swirlers per se. Massa was doing his thing with our people. And that watered down the bloodline too. So I just ask that we educate ourselves when we talk about, well, you ain't full, black, and because your mama white. And listen, there is this thing called the one drop rule. Y'all need to read about that. Anyway, and Anna, how you doing? He says, I just feel like black people are so broken and they thirst for times to put one another down because of self-hate. And that's exactly what it is, self-hate. And Honeydew says it's always the non-athletes that talk noise and with a coulda, shoulda attitude that never put effort in anything, but know that an athlete goes through, doesn't know what an athlete goes through mentally. Yeah, it's hard. Not only you training your whole life, But even if it's for 10 seconds, right? You know, the whole world is watching, and no longer are they just watching, they're judging you. And so it's like, can you imagine? Like I sang a lot, you know, from really all my life. Well, not in the last couple of 10, 15 years or so. But when I was in choir as junior high, I would be so nervous. I would be so nervous. I would be shaking. My knees, and, you know, and all of that. My teacher always wanted me to sing a solo. And I was like, I could never do that. Because I was just so nervous. Not because I couldn't sing, but because I was afraid of being judged. So, you know, anyway.
It's no different than you sisters when y'all were teenagers coming to the damn pool with the bathing suit underneath and a t-shirt on top.
Hey, and Donovan to tell you, anybody know me? No, I ain't getting to no pool when putting no bathing suit on or nothing like that. Just ain't gonna do it. All right, so let's get to these comments. And they say, let's be clear, how many of her haters can run a half of a mile? None of them. They sitting on the couch with their remote control and they phone in the other hand tweeting nonsense after they just got through eating a whole 2-piece in a biscuit. You also say they will always choose whiteness over anything else. You better believe it. And Javia says, I think Mayweather is hilarious. I love him. I love Mayweather because he don't care. Okay. Honey just says laugh out loud. Tyrese, he did. That's a classic. And then Tisha says, I'm not excited about any of these politicians that are coming up. Me either. And G Lee, how you doing? Says Van Jones can replace Jesse.
Van Jones, the guy that cries on CNN that just received $100 billion, $100 million?
Million.
$100 million from Jeff Bezos. You really think a person that is bought and paid for, like the politician we currently have, is going to lead us to the promised land? I just don't see it, but okay.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. And how you doing and welcome. And Jonelle says, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, settle down to a good choice, quote unquote. Let's reflect on that statement, which is simple but powerful. In depth, you can't make a good choice without awareness, and you can't have true awareness with a limited mind. If we as a people want to take a jab, especially in a nation that has a history like Tuskegee experiment by the same company with a jab, now you just know there is no mystery. All is cause and effect, which results have its roots. Yeah, and he said it without saying it. Y'all can, take what you will from that. I apologize, y'all. I'm hot and sweaty.
Another flash, huh? Another flash.
No, you know what? Actually, I haven't been having any signs of menopause for a while. It's just hot, right? So anyway, forgive me. Now I feel much better. Moni says, all I was saying is something is good for you. Nobody would care if you spoke against it. It's just like the Tuskegee Airmen Institute. That is why many people don't trust it and can't blame them. Yeah, I mean, I think we know why.
Yeah, I think, who was that? The Secretary of State of Texas or somebody was saying it's Black people's fault that it's breaking out in Texas. Yeah.
Dan Patrick, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, blamed Black people for the rise. Pioneer says, sis, baby brother Phil can come on here and tell us about his new social media app. We need a platform where there is less censorship and controlled by us. Yes, I will actually reach out to him and see if he will do that. Yeah, but it's there, y'all. There are other platforms, and y'all like the African Diaspora News Channel and, everything about it. Phil's channel. Phil has a, personal channel. He has a podcast channel. We even have a food channel. Check those things out. But yeah, we are limited in what we can say on other people's platforms, but we have our people who are creating apps in other places where we can go and be free to be. But for whatever reason, they like to say the white man's ice is colder than ours. I just can't let go of Facebook now. I can't,
Yeah, why should we make him be a black, what's the guy, Mark Zuckerberg?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's there. We talk about it on most after all the videos about the app. So y'all check it out. I mean, what you got to lose, right? And like like these platforms are like, well, it's free and all of that. Is it really free if you can't say what you want to say? How's it free? And these people are multi-billionaires. How is it really free? It's costing somebody something because they making all this money, right?
All that advertising dollars. And then when you sign up, because we don't like to read, you can't even sue these people if they did something, negative toward you, because you've given that up. You can't sue, but you can go into arbitration.
Yes. Okay, hold on a second. Keep reading the comments. I want to find where these apps are.
Yeah, okay. Jamming is saying, where can we find the Diaspora News Channel apps? You can look for that. Moni says, whenever we do well in sports, they want to attach themselves to Minister Louis Farrakhan. Attach themselves. Minister Farrakhan spoke about this over 20 years ago, and many of us need to just stop being standard UTCSs and step up our game. Pioneer is talking to G, and Honeydew says, sometimes we don't have to hold people to their verbatim word when an overall message is trying to be expressed, because the language of health is ambiguous in itself at times and to the layman's mind. True, very true. And Moni says, Demetra, don't forget, whenever you start promoting too much of us empowering ourselves, this is when magically many of us come up missing, or we are mysteriously killed to stop us from coming from nowhere. And then Gloria says, I hope I'm saying this right, Ojugowa, forgive me. Hello, Demetra and Donovan, have not joined in the chat, just listening. Hope that's okay. Hey, please listen, share, and like. And then G. Lee says, Afghans are going to Oregon. And I'm going to talk about that. And let me say this real quick, because it's a simple solution. Why aren't our so-called black servants, which a lot of you people out there call them leaders, which they're not, they're supposed to be our servants, they work for us. Why aren't they up in arms and saying, you're not going to fool us again, and set these people up to where they have everything they need to set up businesses, buy homes, go to school at little or no dime, and be successful in the United States, and yet you won't do nothing for black people? And that's what's going to do. So if you guys remember the Vietnam War, when they brought the Vietnamese over here, what did they do? They put them in these little camps and set them up initially to give them, where do you want to live? Where do you want to set up? They got to set up. They got grants. They got all kinds of money they didn't have to pay back. And they got set up. And right here in California, you see these same Vietnamese that got here in 1970 owning all of the businesses, their own community, just building everything that they can do. But yet we can't do anything for black people to at least catch us up. There's never no money for that. And yes, it's estimated that $300 million a day was spent in Afghanistan over a 20-year period. $300 million, but we can't get a study. We can't get money for anything, but we can't get a study to do a vote. But that's what they're going to do with these Afghans. They're bringing these people over here, and they're going to set them up to be over us. And of course, we're already doing it. We're going to their gas stations. We're going to their businesses. We're already, it's already there. It's already there. So.
And where did you leave off, Donovan?
I left off at G. Lee. Afghans going to Oregon. And I want you guys to pay attention when the Afghans go to Oregon, because guess who is in Oregon? Big skinheads, white Aryan Nation area and stuff like that. We're going to see how they deal with those people coming into their territory.
All right, y'all. So I had to do some little magic and get this up here. But hopefully y'all can see that. I know it's kind of jacked up on my end.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can get the African Diaspora News Channel app at, I think that's the Apple Store. I think that's the sign for it. You can get it at Google Play. It says Fire TV, LG, Smart TV, and the other one, I'm sorry, I can't, because let me see. What does that say? It says,
yeah, I can't even see that one.
I think it's Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung apps. Yeah, that's what it is.
Samsung. So That's where you guys can get the African Diaspora News Channel app, you know, and the information. So it's there, y'all. It's not like it's not there. It's there. So, and Jonelle, what's the one that the Nation has? The one that the Nation has as well. They have information on their on the website as well. Man, Pam is jamming right. They say, yes, Donovan, you're correct. Sometimes, laugh out loud, I follow you on Facebook. You crack me up with those cartoons. Okay. And Jonas and Donovan, aka the ladies' man, quote unquote. You saw that movie. And Marty says, Donovan, as far as I'm concerned, they would rather see many of us dead or a part of the alphabet community than to have us strong leaders like they did to Malcolm and Newton of the Black Panther Party. Yes, indeed. And Honeydew said it was cold. You sound like George Costanza, shaking my head. I'm telling y'all, it was hot. I was sweating both times. In fact, y'all know that suntan, this suntan from Costa Rica. Now, we was there 2 months ago, maybe at this point. Do it look like it was cold to y'all?
Hey, sun rays have nothing to do with weather patterns and wind and stuff. So that's two different things.
You say, yes, you good now. Okay, so I'm not breaking up. And then Moni says, correction, Donovan, free speech is only for those that are standard. White supremacy, whenever is something that deals with Black folks, everybody in the nation gets concerned. Let's be clear. They would rather silence you. And Anastasia, how you doing? You said that the thing with this Shakari is just with Killer Mike said, slaves arguing over whose master is better. It seems like we always have this Highlander BS. You ain't lying. Like, who's the better block? I'm the better block. Like, shut up. Marty says, I was at the African American, I was at the African American Festival last night and was dutifully disappointed after not having it for years to see how many Caucasians have taken over our food and culture and get our own. I say, well, why are we standing in those lines at an African American festival?
Right. And are we surprised that they're trying to continue to keep getting Black dollars? That's what's holding up this economy in this country, Black dollars, because we are consumers. We don't have any businesses.
Yep. And the Pioneer says, I hear what you're saying about the one drop rule, but we need to have a cutoff point, because what's to stop any white person with dark hair or tan from lying about having Black blood just to be one of us? Well, I mean, I will say this. I think it's kind of dangerous when we think like that. And I'm not saying you per se think like that, because then we get into colorism. You don't look Black enough. Therefore, you ain't Black enough. Was Master Farad Muhammad Black enough? Was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad Black enough? Is Farrakhan Black enough?
Malcolm X, Redbone dude, was he Black enough?
Was Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Black enough? I'm just asking, because when we get into that, then it sounds like we reverse paper bag testing around here. So I think it becomes dangerous when we do that. And my thing is too, what's the point? What is the point? You know, like Sean King, people keep on talking about he ain't Black. He is. Mama's white, his biological daddy is Black. Well, let's say he wasn't Black. Is he helping Black people? I don't know. And Amoni says, Donovan, I have mixed reviews on a person that they say therefore the Black man and Black woman in the media are not meaning when they're married to those that are oppressor and don't want to, I think, people to tell. I mean, again, you know, I have to say to each his own. I have my opinions on it.
Why should that person be happy? It's like me. I'm not a alphabet person, you know, basher, because who they love is who they love. That doesn't affect me. That's who they sleep with. My problem with the alphabet community is stop always bringing up your sexual preference. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Sometimes we get too involved in what everybody else is doing. And for those of us who are worried about who somebody's lying in the bed with, what are you doing with your black husband or your black wife to save your black people? Because you got to do more than just be black together. You know, we black together.
And there's a lot of us that are black sitting on the sidelines where a few of us that are doing the work.
Yep. One says, I read an awful lot because I have a mother that insisted on me reading at all times, so I'm not asleep to what's going on by this demonic oppressor. You have to know God for yourself in the end. You better believe it. Big Cannon, how you doing? And Honeydew says, Pioneers, stay out of trouble. Monia says, welcome, Big Cannon. Yes, indeed. Jafia says, the channels that YouTube will not shut down are the ones who denigrate black women. Yeah, those are very bountiful, if you will. Pioneer says, Queen, you are you really hot, or were you just standing up and taking it off your jacket to get more views? No. He says, will you get progressively hotter as the show goes on? Laugh out loud, just asking for a friend. No, I was really hot. Y'all saw I was sweating and stuff. So anyway, before I take this down, y'all do check out the apps, the African Diaspora News channel on these particular platforms. You will not regret it. So I'm going to take it down now. All right. And Jonelle said, J. Edgar Hoover said, after the Panthers, there will be no black leader unless we make them for black people, and they are doing so and investing as well as orchestrating all things black for, let me move this up a little bit for me, for their rule. No true black leadership will lead black people back to their colonizer. Free is independence, free is self-production. That is truly liberating. Free is a vision beyond our colonizers. Yes, indeed. Without them being involved, period. And Moni says, personally, I'm sick of the summer. Would have been overly hot these last 2 days going into a new week. I don't know how you guys put up with it going, ongoing heat. No way. Hats off to Donovan and Demetra. Yeah, well, it's hot all over the country. It is crazy.
Here where I'm at, all my windows are open. It's about like 73 degrees. It was a perfect day to ride your bikes and everything. I mean, we get that from time to time because remember in California, it's August. This is what? Fire season. The fires are going to start spreading up.
We're going to start calling California hell, okay? Because y'all are on fire. You know, so I say y'all. We just have freezes and stuff in Texas, you know. Ernest says, Donovan, man, will you please make that girl put her glasses on before she ruins her eyes reading all these comments? Laugh out loud. You know,
hey, trying to tell a black woman to do something that then benefits her? Nah, brother, you go ahead. You could have that.
I can't find them, actually. They somewhere around here. I actually need to get a new pair, but I could see. I'm improving my diet, so my vision is getting a little better. And I've been exercising a lot. Can y'all tell my face is slimming down a little bit? Just a little bit. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Big Cannon says, I was thinking about the conversation that we had about the census that they're bringing the Afghan news to push the numbers up because they're not going to put black or other. And I think your comment cut off. I'll get it when I get to it. But yeah, I get where you're going with that. Black, it's done for black people. We refuse to get ourselves together, and you know let's say the Democrats know they got us already on leash. So, Dark Matter says, until we start thinking in terms of nationalism as them taught Garvey, Amos, Wilson, etc., our children, our people will fall under the rule of barbarians, kleptocrats, plutocrats, oligarchs, etc. Yes, indeed. It's all about nationalism, and we don't get it. And we still have so much schism within the black community, right? Marty says, Donovan, I would love to have you here in Michigan so you know what real cold air feels like. It's refreshing. It gets rid of the suntan. You can breathe better, and it kills germs. He says, no problems. I think you meant.
Yeah, but I was in Alaska for 4 years. I went up to the top of the world, 60 below on a good day. I think I know what real cold is.
Yeah, Donovan's been all over the world. All right, so let's see here. And then Abdallah says, what about an iPhone? Yes, so it's on the you can get it on the whatever store that is, the App Store. I think it's what it's called. Yeah, because I have an iPhone and
Apple Store or
something. I'm still learning, y'all. Pioneer says, Donovan is correct about the skinheads being in Oregon, but like Jason Black said the other day, most Afghans are essentially white. in a generation or two that's gonna vote and identify with the other whites. Absolutely. All right, so Janelle put up NFA.studios. You guys, that's the nation's streaming services, if you will. And we should all, go and subscribe. That there's where information that we need is, and I'm guilty. I don't have it yet, but I will get it. My daughter's actually turning me on to streaming services, and so I just actually need to get it. But we can't keep complaining about them, and this is why I really don't have a dog in the fight as far as critical race theory. Because when we cry about those things, they won't teach. They don't want to teach critical race theory, which they talk about. It's essentially the 1619 project of the inception of bringing Black people over here per se into modern day times. They being white supremacy don't want that taught in schools, and we cry about that. But yet we won't subscribe to NFA Studios. We won't get Sister Alma's book. And I'll try to put that back up there if I could get to it. If she's still here, put it in the comment section. We won't get Brother Phil's book. We won't get the app. But how many of us got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime? Some of us even subscribe to YouTube, Spotify. We got all the subscriptions, but we say, well, our people got some, well, do you know? And I don't know. And, we got all these excuses as to why we can't have it. Get at least one. You making Netflix, who gave our sister Monique a very hard time. Y'all giving them money. You giving Hulu money. But Jeff Bezos, damn, he stood up at the NASA and thanked the Amazon employees for making his trip to the moon possible. Well, I didn't get a thank you. I use Amazon, but so let's push our people up. Let's create some billionaires within our community, especially people who are doing stuff for Black people. That money gonna trickle back down.
But isn't that crazy that we support all of these platforms that put people in the management and the executives are mostly white? So they, it's like we contribute to the white lifestyle of giving them all this money so they can maintain their white supremacy over us. I mean, we don't demand anything. We don't say, well, a good portion of the money that we give to support this company, and you don't have one Black executive in a position or a percentage of Black executives in a position, but yet we have all these HBCU graduates that are working for these white corporations.
Yep. And yes, y'all can find the NFA Studios in your app store. So there you go. Amanda says, to meet you, I got a younger cousin that is 37 and he is a twin. When I try to motivate him to get back and get his GED, since he has an average job living in Georgia, he becomes nasty to the point your comment cut off. Well, everybody in their own time, right? Honeydew says, this might be too fresh, but what's the tribe in Africa that stretch their cold implanting devices? Sorry, I'm done. What? Donovan, figure that out. Decode it, brother.
Yeah, the cold implanting
Dude, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific. And Buchanan says, was that Elizabeth Warren who said that she was Indian and the president started calling her a $5 Indian? A Pocahontas is what he was running around calling her. She says she made a mistake. I don't know about that. Jeremy says,
so is she giving the money back? Is she getting the money back and the scholarship she took from the people who really needed it? Is she going to do that? I mean, she makes over $100,000 a year plus stock options.
You're taking it too far now, brother Kaye. And Jeremy says, that's frostbite on your shoulder, Demetra. Got your back, Donovan. Nah. That ain't no frostbite. And I ain't been in the sun in a minute. And Jonas is right, Donovan. We are a nation within the nation. And as a collective nation within this America, we have a revenue as great as most top countries and nations on this planet. As far as wealth, to the fact our self-love, self-awareness, and economic unity will alter this planet. Yes, indeed. And Honey Dewey says, right, Pioneer, wasn't Bush's and Bin Laden's besties? Oh, yes.
Yes, Bin Laden's father was a big construction guy in the Middle East. And that's where the Bin Laden's wealth comes from. And the Bushes contracted with them as well. So to build oil platforms and all that other good stuff.
Yep. Donovan going to give us his spiel in just a couple of minutes. And
No, I already gave the spill.
Oh, okay, cool. Marty said, I decided to just cut him out of my life for good because I love him, but I realized that I love me more. Talking about your cousin, the more that story is too much jealousy in the home that we need to remove direct to the oppressor. Okay. Jafia says, Donovan, I am with you on the sexual preference BS. Okay. Honeydew says, Big Cannon, he also called her Pocahontas. She might be a $5 Indian for real. And Pioneer says, Neely Fuller Jr. teaches us how racists love to play games with words. They'll claim the white population is down, but they'll import white Cubans and white Afghans whose offspring will certainly identify as white. Yes, indeed. And Jonelle says, nature truly doesn't have to say what it is. It doesn't have to promote or demand its rights. What's unnatural is what has to be enforced and promote. But the truth don't need any BS. What's natural and true stands alone and solid. Yes, indeed. And Randy, how you doing? He says, it was 109 last night here in Laredo. Oh, my God. Marty says, Major, it's time for you to be in an environment where you have all 4 seasons as opposed to just 1 or possibly 2 seasons. Texas is way too hot and going to get hotter down your governor lock dump. Okay. Yeah, global warming. Some people are like, yeah, it doesn't exist, but I'm here to tell you it feels like it does. Jafia says, D, is that why your cheekbones are looking more pronounced? It could be. I've been exercising and cutting back a little bit, and plus it's hot, so that could be why. I need to drop some LBs, and it's finally coming down. So I just got to keep going, y'all. And Janelle says, don't worry, Queen. My grandma was blind, but she could catch me using her senses and shoot a gun. Well, damn, blind ain't that bad, but thank God for sight. Yes, indeed. My hearing ain't so great either. Some people say you just ain't paying attention. I hear you, but I hear you, right? And Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? He says, don't fall for the Afghan need help trick, quote unquote. Many of elites from that country rip off USA government store that money in mind. Mid-East, speaking of sight, right? Banks until they get to the US, keep them out. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And that was the thing. We kept propping up these regimes that just stole the money. They just took the money. They didn't do it for, trillions of, they said $4 trillion that could have been spent right here. And we got the same outcomes if we didn't go over there at all. You know what I mean? Nation building. Why are we nation building in other nations and our infrastructure here is just falling apart? And that's what people don't understand. And us who pay a good substantial amount of the taxes in this country, we are the big base of this country's foundation and how we do the economy. We pay all this money in taxes and we're getting nothing for our dollars, but all these other people are benefiting.
Yes, indeed. And Marty says, I hope that Demetra and Donovan at some point real soon, you guys will have your own podcast so that you don't have to deal with the BS from YouTube, IG, nor Facebook. Different outlets is what we need now. Yeah, there's plenty of Donovan, put them in the comment section so I can put them up here. You get podcasts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. When Demetra and I first started, that's what we did was a podcast. And I still do it. I still do the podcast. So I'm on iHeartRadio and all the other things.
We was wilding, okay? Someone said, Donovan, can you elaborate more on that about you can't sue YouTube or Facebook? I'd like to know more about it. So in the future, if I want to do a channel that deals with beauty and know what to expect.
Well, all you have to do is go to YouTube or Facebook and to its terms and conditions, and it's going to tell you exactly what you signed up for.
Pioneer says, I agree with you, sis. Why are people complaining about racists refusing to teach on racism in society? What did you expect? We need to be educating our own children anyway.
Right. Yeah. But Pioneer, think about what you just said there. We are expecting racist people to teach racism that they don't want the world to know that they engage in, but we're relying on them to teach the right way. That shows you how messed up we are and just conditioned.
Yeah, they're never going to do it. But let's start teaching our own children, right? And Jonelle says, right, Queen, yell, they knock us down. He said, yet they knock us down. I'm trying to say, but don't cry. Do all the motion to get back up and find the winning methods and apply. You can complain, but do something about the complaint. support a Black business, teach a Black youth about wealth and how to make, etc. Do something constructive for our rise and future because our time is now. Yes. Teach your own kids, about race or our history and all that. They ain't going to teach it to us right. No way.
Right.
They never have.
And then sitting here arguing about it and just being mad about it. You want to make a difference? If you want certain things taught in certain textbooks, when was the last time that you went to a school board meeting? When was the last time you went to the city hall?
Right. Exactly. Facts, not feelings. It says we don't need Black billionaires. We need Black socialists that can lift millions of Blacks as a community into middle class. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And Honeydew says, I can't explain it further. I be on the internet too much. Donovan being cold in the pool. Everyone needs a stretch. I mean, we could do some math here, but I just want to just say Donovan is not being truthful. As we were told as children, it's rude to call somebody a liar.
Wait a minute. Wait. The only reason I brought that sock is because the sock that I had on is going to have sand in it. I wanted to put my feet in some better socks. That's the only reason I had the sock.
So was you keeping it for safe keepings in your Speedos? Why was it there?
It was cold.
You was using it as a warmer. We were like, what was going on? Pioneer says it was Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick who tried to blame the surge on the unjabbed Black folks. Notice he hasn't blamed the hundreds of thousands of untested illegal immigrants coming across the border or their people. White people are the majority of the population. We're only 13%. How the hell are we the cause of it?
I was in San Diego. They built, they redid gentrified San Diego and everything like that. They have an Italian part of it, right? Old Italian part of the city, down by the what's the Old Town? It's right next to Old Town, right across from the USS Midway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get back on the 5 to go home. White women, rich white women, spilled out in the streets. No mask, no nothing. They're just having the time of their lives. And I was just appalled because people there's no mask. I mean, again, you didn't see a lot of us.
Was it on the news? Because I think I saw you out there.
No, you didn't see me. You didn't see me. But no,
go Norbit.
Go Norbit, go. No, but I mean, it was crazy to see that because, number one, you got to have money to be in San Diego in those areas. So you didn't see a lot of it. Some of us were there, but no masks. No, nothing. They were acting like they were in a different time zone as far as I was concerned.
They probably were. And Randy said, $4 trillion sounds like reparation money to me. Oh, that's way too low.
That's a good down payment. That's a good down payment.
Yes. Donell says we gotta go to the root and truly look at the revenue of things in this nation. We will see reality a lot clearly. Just think they make $1 billion a day off of these jabs. So, of course, they would invest via media and et cetera against the holistic approach, which prevents diseases as well as heals you naturally. And that's what I try to do to myself personally is, take better care of myself. Pioneer says, to Don's point, there are plenty of nations in Africa from the Congo to Ethiopia. We have been engaging in long-term conflicts that would welcome America's intervention and nation building program. You ain't lying, but they over there trying to get the resources. They ain't trying to rebuild. They're trying to destroy and tear down so they can have it for themselves, right? And let's see here. Emily says, it's too hot here in Michigan. It's going to be hot this week. I'm ready for the weather to change because I don't like hot weather. I'm glad for the 4 seasons. Donovan, do you like cooler weather?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not like cold weather. I just, and then I'm kind of skinny, so I don't have a lot of body fat. So
I like colder weather. I can always dress up. And Kevin, how you doing? I should say Mr. Kevin. How you doing? He says, good afternoon, D&D and D Show family. He says, think people are ignoring the high number of forest fires. And if you all don't understand why it is horrible that the damn rainforest in Brazil is burning out of control and Americans are still paying for the corporation's pollutions, I am telling you that I embrace the covenant of everlasting life and follow the teachings of God sent through a man. It's that serious. Don't sleep on global warming. I'm with you. And Honeydew, you laughing. And Jonelle says, right. but some great. Stop letting the bully. We are our own problem, and we are our own solution. Wisdom empowers awareness, empowers learn. Yes, indeed. Mona said, what I mean by that is it was Africans that had been coming. I only see 8 that have been coming over the last 20 years. Let's be clear, but it's disappointing seeing more whites want to see what happens. Oh, yeah, for sure. Pioneer says, Queen, I'm sorry, I spelled out the entire word. Oh, it's okay, I get it. I didn't say it, though. I don't think I did. It says, I didn't even notice or think it until I heard you correct it while reading. Okay, I raised my hand. Oh, no worries. I mean, I don't think they have a problem with you saying it. They just don't want us harping on it too much, if that makes any sense. One says, we have lots of clothing. They want to come and buy it. They want to buy the different chains that you wear around your waist when many of them don't have physique to start their picking through hair. You wilded. And Pioneer says, brother, be careful. Stuffing
That's what I was laughing at.
Laugh out loud. The wrong brother can catch athlete's foot that way. Wow. That's something to think about. Ooh, can you imagine Donovan just then you got to put that spray stuff.
Yeah, the ointment. They got the ointment you put in the jacket.
Woo! Boy, I tell you. Thank you. That's good looking out, Pioneer. Marty says, finally, they were picking through their hair as well as preparing food that is supposed to be our African culture. I was very disappointed, very watered down. Don't know if I will go next year. Are you talking about the festival? Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't even be standing in those lines anyway. Yes, indeed. Peace on to you, Jonelle. And the Pioneer says, like you, Queen, I love colder weather. I tend to sweat, and cool weather keeps me from being too shiny. Yes, as y'all can see, right? And so anyway, I don't see any more comments. And so I guess we'll go ahead and just start wrapping it up. We read all the comments. Can you believe that? But I want to say, too, again, support all of the things that we put up today. Black-owned businesses, streaming services, books, clothing lines, and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you guys would do us a favor, if you can, donate to the Demetra Kaye Show via Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, or become a member by becoming a member of the channel, I guess. Every little bit helps in keeping the information coming forward to you. So appreciate the members that we have already, and those who want to become a member and donate, we appreciate you as well. And let me read these last comments before I give it to Donovan. I also want to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything you do, for making the show go farther on Facebook. On the Pioneer, you say, I've been noticing for the past 30 years, so many Black folks are moving down south, especially to places like Georgia. We can't all live in Atlanta. We need to have representation all over this nation. Yeah, but we are mightier, more power in numbers, right? And so the most Black people live in the South. That's where we just happen to be right now. So we need to mobilize more so where we are. Not going to do it in California. There's not enough Black people to do that in California anymore. So
yeah, there's an old saying, you can. It's very easy to break a stick, but it's very hard to break a bundle of sticks.
There you go, brother. Kevin, or Mr. Kevin, you say it's been said that in the end times, people will be living with the same zest that leads to its end, and some of the people will live after the heaven is made anew. Let's be that people. Every end is the time of new beginnings. Donovan is right that we need to teach more than capitalism, farming, and being able to raise children. Learn. Absolutely. Yes, indeed, Pamela Rose, you have a good week as well. And Moni says, what I mean by that, Demetra, many times you have people coming in our community preaching all day for Black salvation, decolonizer mentality, and your well-being change. Your thoughts is who you marry to why. Okay. Honey says, I moved from Philly, but not as far as a coast. I don't know why. I laugh out loud. Sunlight says, good evening, family. Have a great week. The same to you. Pioneer says, it's funny how these Mexicans and Middle Easterns from some of the hottest places on the planet don't have a problem moving to the Midwest, and some are trying to get into Canada if they'll let them in. Okay. And Honey says, I thought you said African countries could use help. I misunderstood. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
they could use help, but it's like we got to help ourselves first. See, everybody keeps misconstruing that. It's like being Black. We stand up for everybody else but ourselves. If we're not together, how the hell are you going to sit there in good conscience and talk about somebody else's house when your house is not in order itself? So if with our infrastructure crumbling and money just being thrown out the window, why are we going to go build their nation when our nation needs built? We can't even solve the homeless problem. $4 trillion could have solved the homeless problem. $4 trillion could have paid all the student debt. $4 trillion could have done health care.
Yes, indeed. Oh, Honeybee said, I'm sorry, that was a pioneer. No worries. All right, y'all. So we are going to get out of here. You guys do have a great week. We will definitely see you on Thursday. I don't know. We may come another day. I keep saying that, but you know, Donovan and I, we be on the move a lot, right? I got work to do per se. So does Donovan, kind of, sort of. He's retired. So anyway.
Well, I do have a trip coming up, but I can still do the show from the trip. So I will still be doing the show on my trip.
All right, brother. Well, y'all heard it here. Otherwise, I have to go looking for him. I have to mount up my horse. So anyway, y'all have a great week. We'll see you guys on Thursday for sure. Then Friday and, of course, Sunday. So y'all have a great week. Yes, no, thank you guys to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we love you guys. Be safe and have a great evening. Peace.